back to my YouTube channel and to our new series, Let's Learn Together Java Patterns. As the title implies, we will learn how to create a square pattern in Java using Wildcard in Notepad++ and compile it on CMD. Notepad++ or Notepad is pretty basic, easy to use, it is very affordable, anyone already have this in their PCs, and it is the most basic thing to start with if you're an aspiring programmer. And even if you're not a programmer, or you can also do this for pastimes. But before that, please take some time to hit on the subscribe button if you're new to my YouTube channel. So without any further ado, let's jump right into the video. I've created a folder in my desktop named as Java Practice, and inside is a Java Patterns folder, and inside of it, let's create a new text document and name it as prac la_p1_pattern square.java. Prac means practice or Java practice. LA is the first two letters of my last name. P1 since it's our first program in the series, and pattern square, which is a square under Java patterns, and the Java is the file extension. Why am I doing this? Why am I doing some pretentious stuff? It's just naming a file. So I'm gonna explain this because proper naming conventions is very important. For example, we misplace this file on our videos or pictures directory, and with the file name we've already known that it's a practice, it's our Java practice, it's the first Java practice under Java patterns folder, and that would be more easier for us to remember that it should be in this folder. So should take note of that. So now we can open it and create it in a Notepad or Notepad++, but we're gonna be using Notepad++. Why? Let me show you. So let's open this with Notepad. Right click, or let's double click it. Notepad. So when I type the access specifier public, it's a plain black color, and you can't appreciate or identify whether it's a keyword or just an ordinary text, or whether it's an access specifier. We don't know. So let's open it on Notepad++. This one. And as you can see, if I type public, it's color violet, and we compare it with the Notepad just so we know their differences. Where's Notepad? This one. Oops, this is that was a while ago. So as you can see, we can appreciate the code in Notepad++ rather than in Notepad, because it already identifies the access specifier, the keywords in Java, and the ordinary text and the comments. It's more appreciable. So we can X this, don't save. And now I'm going to start with my comment headers. I'm gonna type my header comments, and I'm gonna forward this.
Java practice author.
Why do we need to do this? Because it's so that if we're going to make a project or a big project in the future, and once we go back to the small projects that we did, it would be easier for us to know when did we create that and what year.
It's 6:13, if I'm not mistaken. It's 39. It's 15. and the topic was about Java pattern, and it's a square using wildcard asterisk, and then
we write our comment here, or maybe I'm going to put here the task that we should be doing right now. So create a 5 by 10 square using wildcard or asterisk. So this is the expected output. 1 2 3 4 5 expected output. 3 4 5 10. There's 10 columns and there's 5 rows. 3 4 5. Yeah, so let's create a 5 by 10 square. You might be wondering why 5 by 10, not 5 by 5. It should be proportion because it's square, right? But it's not good looking if we display it like this. It's 3 4 5. 1 2 3 4 5, right? Does that look square to you? No, right? So for the sake of this video, I make it 5 by 10. So first we create the main class. Public class file name. It's not literally file name, but it's the name of your file. This one, prac_la_p1. So we change it, prac_la_p1_ square. Easy to remember, right? Because we name it properly. And public static void main string args, and in here inside of it we call the class name or the constructor. If we call that the class name or the constructor here, it will initialize the starting program of our program. So we create another class. This is the main class. When we say public class, that means it's the main class. If we say class only, so that's another class, but it's not the initial starting of the class. This is the initial starting of the class. That's why it should be the same name with this file name, because if not, it's not going to run. I am telling you, that's the first thing that you should know. So class, let's rename it pattern square. So class pattern square, and in here let's write our three basic comments that we should never forget when we're starting to create a program. And these three basic and very important comments is necessary because this will be the basis of our code every time we code or every time we do a program, so that when we block, for example, what am I gonna be doing? Start with these three comments. What will be the attributes? Do I really need an attribute or not? But this time we're not gonna be dealing with attributes because we only use the counter inside of the for loop. We can declare it indirectly. So constructor is public pattern square open close, and constructor means, let's write it down, it is the first block of code that's being initialized or executed I should say. It's better to say being executed. It is the first block of code that's being executed in this class when it's called the main method or main class, which is this one, main class. That's our main class. So later we're gonna be calling this pattern square inside of the main class, but for now not. So in here we're gonna be calling the method that we're gonna put here. Okay, let's create public void. Let's make use of void because it's just a basic program, and maybe in the future we're gonna turn this into something like public string, because if it's void it means it's not returning anything. We're gonna be learning it as this program goes. So public void create square 1, and we what's the first thing to do? We display, right? We should display a message to the user. Maybe it's not need to display a message to the user, but since we're starting, let's make use of the system.out, that print ln. It can be print, which means it's only on the first line, but with print ln it's going to the next line. So we print square 1, pattern square 1. So that's pattern square 1. And next is we display, oh sorry for that. Next is we CUUGSS. We display the rows. Which is there are 5 rows. Do you remember that square 5 by 10, right? The 5 there is the rows. If you remember, it's rows means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's line by line, so that's the rows, right? And by doing that, we create a for loop. For loop is the most used, let's say it's the most used loop in the programming field, and it's very useful because with the loop we don't need to print each and every numbers by just using loops. It's automatically made for us. The program will automatically do it for us. So int row is rows. Okay, let's say int rows is equals to 1. That's the initial point, and rows is less than or equal to 5, because our rows is 5. That's the range of our rows. And when the rows, for example, 1 is less than or equal to 5, true, like that. Wait, let me just finish this. So why is this doing it? So rows equals to 1, and now we display the rows and the columns. We display the calls, which is 10 because it says 10, right? So we make another inner loop. So this is what we call as outer loop, and this is what we call as inner loop, because there's a loop inside a loop. So just like this one, we copy this. If you don't want to copy this, you can type it in your own so that you'll get used to it. Cos is equals to 1 and cos is less than or equal to, it's not 5 because our columns is 10, so change it to 10, that's the range. And this one is cos, and open close parentheses, and every time that flips, it's going to print a wildcard, one wildcard at a time. And wait, so okay, we're going to simulate it. So our rows is initialized as 1. We simulate it here so that hopefully we can understand it. Simulation. So our rows is 1. Rows, that's our rows, and rows is less than or equal to 5. This is the first one to be executed. Next one, it will make sure if the condition is true. It will make sure if the condition is true, and then it will not go here directly, but it will go inside the inner loop, right? Wait, so we go here, this is the inner, just so we know that it's the inner. So our calls, and calls is less than or equal to 10, and then if you remember again, this is the first and second to be executed, and then goes here, print this. So we're going to print, let's say I print, in print, which means inner loop print. Let's make it big, and it will be incremented, calls plus plus, let's say call plus plus, and when it becomes incremented, it will check if it's true. Okay, well, after calls plus plus, it will go here, print ln, so that there's a sign to go, there's a way to go into the next line. How would it become a square if we're not going to the next line, right? So print ln in. So our rows is, okay, let's start. Rows, sorry for that. So rows is equals to 1. Rows is equals to 1. Rows is less than or equal to 5. 1 is less than or equal to 5. Is 1 less than or equal to 5? It's true. It's less than or equal to 5. And the inner calls, our column is 1. 1. And then 1 is less than or equal to 10. 1 is less than or equal to 10, which is true. Oops. What was that? And then the inner print, if calls is equal to 1, it's true, yes. We go inside and it will print asterisk. We put it here because it's print. And then when it's been printed, it goes here, which means calls 1 will be 1 plus 1. 1 plus 1, it is equals to 2. So our column again is 2. From 1 it becomes 2. And then it's not going here yet because we're still looping. The condition is not yet finished, right? We're still in column 2, so we loop again. We're going to remain or stay here inside the inner loop because our condition is not been met. So after we finish this, that's the time we go here and then we repeat the process here. Okay, so let's do this. After column 2, the column is 2. The column is 2, and 2 is less than or equal to 10, which is true. And it's not yet ln. It's not on the next line, so we print 2. We print this, so it becomes incremented again. Columns is 3, so we go here. It's 3 now, and 3 is less than or equal to 10, which is true. And then print the asterisk, same. The line, it's not on the next line because nothing changed, it's print only, so it becomes 4. And we go to the next, we increment the columns, which is 4, that's our initial column, and 4 is less than or equal to 10, which is true. It's less than. What? So we will print 3, 4, and 4 will become 5. Why is this doing this thing? 5. And becomes 5, right? So 5 is less than or equal to 10. It's true. So it will display 3, 4, 5, 5, and it will display 6, and it goes here again. You know, it's very hard to do this. Maybe in the next video I'm gonna separate the video for programming this stuff and the simulation part. I think that before, but let's just try it for the meantime. So 6 is less than or equal to 10. If you're new to programming, you can try this using your pen and paper. Print this and it becomes 7. Maybe I'm just gonna forward this. I don't think if you can understand it, but as it goes, it will go into the next line. It will print this 5 times, 3, 4, 5, because that's the columns. That's the rows, and the columns is 10, just like what we see here, because the range is 10, so this line should be 10, and the rows is 5, so it keeps on looping. It keeps on going to the next line, and then it's going to display this 10 asterisk, 10 wildcards. If you still can understand the logic of this, I'm going to create a video for that on the next video. so that it's much easier for us to understand. And our job now, let's call this method to the constructor. Call the method to the constructor. When we call it, we add this one. And again, when we create a function or a method means work. It's a work. So the job of this function is to do this thing. So to show that it's the symbol that indicates that it's a function is this sign, open and close parenthesis, and don't forget the semicolon, because it tells us that the statement or function call is the end, or it's the end of the statement or the function call. So if we call the method here, we can also copy and paste this constructor into our main method. Right here, we copy it here, and don't forget the semicolon again. And again, the word new, because it's very important, because when we use the word new, it means we're creating an instance of the class. Instance means an occurrences of something or the object class. In other words, it allocates memory for a new object and returns a reference to that memory. So we can run it now. We go to Windows R, CMD, and we type CD to change the directory, and we go to the path, the current path of our file, and copy that and paste it here. And we use the word C /JDK/bin/javac and the file name. Copy this, and take note that it will not work if you don't have JDK. If you don't have JDK yet, because we're gonna be needing that in order to compile this. So if you haven't done that yet, I'm going to put the link in the description, the things that you needed to do before executing this file, Notepad++, and everything. So press enter. Wait, what happened? It's Java, and enter. You see, it's a command line, and if it doesn't say anything, that means it's already cleared, or nothing's wrong with this. When we run it, we remove the .java and the C in the Java word. This statement here, when we say javac and .java, we are creating, we are compiling, I should say, we are compiling our program. And if you go here, there's the class. That's the thing that we've created, the class that we've just created a while ago. This is the main class. You see, it's the same with this one, and this is the pattern square class that we just created a while ago. And compilation means, when we compile using this, it means that we are making sure that there's no errors. And if there is, like for example, let's remove this. let's say pattern, and save it. And then we go here, and then we try to compile it again by using the word Java, and press enter. It will display an error and said public class, this is the line number 79, because should be declared in a field named prag.la pattern.java, but we missed the name, which is pattern square. It should be pattern square, so be careful with that. We back CLS, which is clear, and then again we compile it just so we know that there's no problem, and we remove the Java and the C and press enter. So this will be the output of our first program. So if you like this video, that's it for this video for now, and thank you for watching and for listening for all of the beginners. If you're still confused about this video and the simulation process, I'm going to create a simulation table about it for the next video, so stay tuned, and thank you everyone, and peace. So that's all for this video, guys, and if you find this video helpful, please do not forget to hit like, share, and subscribe button. Always pray, be safe, keep on learning, and give God to your loved ones.